Check 1 2, check 1 2. Check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2. Hey Houston, can you hear me? This is Derrick Broze, your Houston mayoral candidate. Today is the second day of early voting here in Houston, Texas, and I just wanted to check in real quick with a couple of thoughts. If you can hear me okay, please comment. Let me know that I'm coming through all right. And if you want to share this with any friends or any groups you're involved in, feel free to do that. As I said, this is the second day of early voting, and it's been interesting so far now that early voting has began. People in Houston are finally tuning into the election. Today, the focus of this short video, I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet, is voting, obviously. We're going to talk about early voting. We're going to talk about my thoughts on voting in general. And then we're going to talk about this hashtag that I've seen going around for the past months, hashtag anyone but Turner. And, you know, what that really means and my thoughts on that. So first off, let's start off with the discussion on voting. So as I said, it's early voting. If you do want to support my campaign, now is the time. Early voting began yesterday, Monday. It continues today, Tuesday. And basically from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Friday, until November 1st, you can go vote at places all over the city. And then there's also Saturday hours and Sunday hours. So even if you're working Monday through Friday, you know, all the way till 8 p.m. at night or whatever, you can still find time if you want to go support my campaign. And, you know, if you want to participate at all, just make an effort. I do want to say that personally, I haven't really been big on voting over the years. For those who have looked into my record, I've had a few folks say, how come you've never voted in a local election before? How come you have no record of this? And, well, my response to that is this. There's never been a candidate like me running for political office. There's never been a candidate running for city council, for mayor in the city of Houston who's talking about the issues that I'm talking about. And so I've never felt inspired to, you know, campaign for anybody or to get up and go vote on something. I'm not one of these people that's going to sit here and try to pressure you or guilt you into say you need to go vote no matter what because that's your responsibility, that's your duty, and people died for you to vote. I don't buy into all that stuff. I don't buy into this idea that we should vote for the lesser of two evils. And that's why if I don't make in the runoff, if I'm not elected into the mayoral spot, I will not be endorsing anybody or promoting anybody, you know, no matter who makes it into that runoff. Because if there was somebody else worth supporting in this race, I wouldn't be running. But there's not. There's just a bunch of career politicians, and so I decided to run. So for one, that's why I don't have a voting record, is because there's never been anybody worth voting for in my eyes. There's never been anybody that talks about all the issues that I'm raising. That's one thing. And then again, I don't believe that it's right or helpful for us to try to pressure or trick or guilt people into voting. We saw a lot of this in the last election, the 2016 election, where people, friends, families, neighbors, they seem to fight and argue over, did you vote for Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton? And if you didn't vote for one or the other, well then, you know, you're a part of the problem. I just don't buy into that. So, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because some of you may have seen that I was on the CW39 show Morning Dose yesterday morning. If you didn't see that, please go check it out. We just uploaded it to our Facebook, and we shared that earlier today as well. But at the end of that show, the hosts, which by the way, the hosts were really awesome and they were nice, and they actually interviewed me. And when I talked to them, they even acknowledged, hey, I've seen that you had some problems with Fox 26. We believe in being fair to all candidates. So any candidate who reaches out to us, we're going to give them airtime. And I'm thankful for that. So shout out to CW39 for actually being fair and balanced in, you know, their journalism about the election at least. And shout out to the hosts for having me on. I didn't have to twist anybody's arm or threaten to get a lawyer or anything like that. But when the show was closing out, one of the hosts said, make sure you get out and vote. It doesn't matter who you vote for, just vote. I do not believe that message at all. And if there had been more time on the show, I would have said, hey, hold on, let's think about that a little more. Because again, just because you're voting for somebody doesn't mean you're doing good. I mean, can we all agree that if Hitler was running for office, that, you know, voting for Hitler wouldn't be a good idea? You know, it's this sort of idea that, well, all you have to do is participate in some way. And if you participate, well, then you've done your American duty. It doesn't matter if the person you vote for is going to make the city worse or make the country worse, just as long as you participated. That's some really just failure of logic and failure of imagination. Actually, your vote can do harm. Your vote can do harm. I would rather people stay home uneducated, unaware, and do nothing than to just blindly go vote for somebody because they've been pressured to believe that that's what they have to do to be a good old American, good Houstonian. If they want to, be a good, upstanding citizen, they need to go vote. Because what happens is we end up with a situation where more and more people are voting, but not because they're fully informed or maybe because they care, but just because they're being pressured to. And the other thing that I've found is we've had some people in our campaign who will say, for example, Miriam's family or just friends, I don't want to single anybody out, but people who say that they'll vote for me just because they know me or because they know somebody that I know, or we talk to them for literally 2 seconds and maybe they hear one part of my campaign, like, for example, I want to decriminalize cannabis, and they're like, yeah, cool, I'm voting for that guy. And, that's cool if they actually keep their word. But again, I don't want blind followers or zombies or lemmings. I want people who can think critically and who are going to challenge the system and go out there. And if you decide to vote, which I will say again, I've said this a lot throughout the campaign, I do not think voting is the most effective way to express your interests and your feelings. I think there are other ways, but that's a whole other conversation. But if you choose to vote, I would rather you, to get actively involved and engaged and learn about all the candidates. So even if you want to support me, guys, which I'm hoping that you will support me, but I recommend checking out the Houston Chronicle Voters Guide, checking out the League of Women Voters Guide. The Houston Public Media posted elevator pitches, these real short 2-minute videos where each of the candidates just have 2 minutes to make their appeal to the public. And get educated, learn about what the people are talking about. I think that my campaign is much more interesting and valuable than the others, of course, but I guess I'm biased. But I just don't want people to be blind followers, and I also don't want people to buy into this idea that if you vote, you're doing a good job. No, your vote does matter. The substance that you vote for, because this is my problem. This has been my problem with voting throughout, my whole adulthood. There are people who will go vote for somebody. Let's say, I'm just going to pick a name out of a hat, Barack Obama. And they celebrate and they champion this person like they're going to be the savior of the world. And then when that person gets into office, in this case, Obama, and they do bad, like, for example, they expand the wars, they expand the surveillance state, they drone bomb people, they take away more liberties and take away, more freedoms that Americans are known to have and to cherish. Where are the voters then? There's no accountability. You know what I mean? Like, you basically go vote. You get your little election sticker, I voted, I did my job. And then if that person is a complete, crap hole, just completely, bad official, corrupt, or just a liar, nothing happens. Everybody just goes about their day, and a lot of times people continue supporting them. So there's a failure of accountability, I believe. But yeah, I just wanted to reiterate that because, again, I don't think this idea that, hey, it doesn't matter who you vote for, just make sure you go get involved. I don't think that's a good idea. Let's stop thinking that way. Let's start only voting if there are people worth voting for. Because I think whenever the local elections and the national elections, when they hand us 2 turds to vote for, and one's a turd that's red, one's a turd that's blue, and they say choose between these 2, what if nobody showed up? What if everybody said, you know what? Those choices suck so bad, we're not going to participate. We're not going to play your game. So, as I said a few moments ago, for those just tuning in, if I do not make the runoff for whatever reason, I will not be endorsing any other candidates. I will not be telling you guys, hey, look, this is who I'm going to vote. I won't be voting in the runoff, just plain and simple. Because if there was somebody else worth supporting, I would be supporting them already instead of running against them. So those are my thoughts on that. And then sort of a additional thought that goes along with that is this hashtag anyone but Turner. I'm sure you guys have seen this going around, hashtag anyone but Turner. And of course, Turner is the current mayor of Houston. I got a loud barking dog right here. And again, that's not true. Anyone but Turner doesn't necessarily mean better. Anyone but Turner could be somebody much more corrupt, could be somebody that is going to listen to the people even less, so your choices do matter. Who you vote for does matter. It's not just a matter of vote for anybody, you've done your duty, now you have no responsibility, or vote for anybody but the guy that I don't like, because some of you may remember, again, 2016, there was anyone but Trump, anyone but Hillary, and there was people who said, I don't even like Donald Trump, I'm just so afraid if Hillary Clinton wins that the country's going to, end up bad, so I'm going to vote for Trump. And then vice versa. People who didn't like Hillary Clinton, but were so afraid, people who actually not only didn't like Hillary Clinton, but who liked Bernie Sanders and who were calling out Hillary Clinton's corruption and all her scandals, but still in the end decided to vote for her because they were afraid Donald Trump would win. So that's not smart thinking, guys. This is the system tricking you to participate and choose between the lesser of two evils. How about this? How about this, my friends? Now that early voting has begun in Houston, how about we stop voting for evil? How about we stop voting for corruption? How about we stop voting for people who do not have our best interests at heart? How about we stop voting for people who just want to get back to basics, or people who are promoting themselves as non-politicians but surround themselves with politicians? How about we stop voting for establishment people who are promoting themselves as being one of the common men or, women? These are the different characters we have in this race. So this election season, I will be voting for myself, and I will be voting for a couple of city council candidates. I'm not going to say who or in which races, and I will be voting for a couple of other things on the ballot. But I'm not just going to vote just because somebody tells me I need to vote, and I'm not going to vote on every proposition if I'm not well informed, and that's all I'm asking of you. Don't vote in the races you don't know anything about. And if you don't have the time to get educated, that's fine. But just admit that you don't have time to be educated and sit this one out. I'd rather you sit this one out than go vote based off faulty information or lack of information, or just because you feel the pressure to vote or to participate. I don't think that's what our country and our city should be about. Our city should be about taking ownership of our own lives and building ourselves up and building each other up and doing something better. And the way we do that is by getting informed and educated about the world around us. And if you don't have the time at the moment to educate yourself about the people running for office, then just sit this one out and we'll take care of it. And also, my friends, and this is probably the key message if you hear anything I've said today, even after you vote, your job isn't done. Your job isn't done. It's only just beginning, okay? Voting is, again, one of the simplest, I'd say weakest, and most basic, lazy ways to express yourself and the way you feel about the world. I appreciate the votes. I'm not sitting here trying to rag on anybody. I'm just saying, if all you do is vote, but you do nothing else, then nothing will improve. My whole campaign, if you go to the decriminalize.com, scroll all the way to the bottom of the homepage, it's been there since May when we first launched. You don't have to wait till November for change. Vote every day with your actions by getting involved in your community. That's been the message I've been promoting this entire time. My message has never been vote for Derrick Broze because we're going to save this city, or I'm going to save this city, or anything like that. It has always been about getting you to get involved in the community. And I've thought about this campaign in a very meticulous way. We're down to the last 14 days. And the reality is that after these 14 days, some of you are not going to care about anything I have to say. Once I'm no longer a mayoral candidate, some of you will, forget about me, because you're only in this for the political race. But for me, this is not about Houston. This is not about a mayoral race. This is about changing the world. I've been dedicated to this for my entire life, for the last 10, 11 years, and I don't plan on changing that anytime soon. So no matter what happens in this race, I'm thankful that I've entered this race. I'm thankful to all the people I've met around Houston, to all the communities we've been able to work with, to all the people who've expressed that they like my ideas, that they like what I'm about, that they trust me. I can't believe you guys are putting your trust and your faith in me. And I'm honored. I'm just so honored to be out here fighting for you, because I'm fighting for you. I'm fighting for me. I'm fighting for all of us. But we're all fighting together. This is not about me doing it alone. It's about us coming together and changing the world together. So please remember that, my friends. Just a little recap. It's early voting. And if you want to vote for me, I appreciate that. Go out there. Get educated about what's going on in the city. If you're going to vote, learn as much as you can about all the different candidates. By the way, there's 12 mayoral candidates and there's hundreds of city council candidates. Go look up one of the voters' guides. Get informed. Number 2, it does matter who you vote for. It's not just vote for anybody. It has no effect. Number 3, hashtag anyone but Turner is not a good thing. Anyone but Turner doesn't mean better. Don't just settle for anyone new. We have to do better than just taking the next guy because he's better than the guy we don't like. And yeah, remember, you own yourself. And if we change this city, it might come through electing a new mayor. It might come through electing new city council members. But at the end of the day, I know that true change comes from the ground up, from the bottom up, from people like you and me, everyday people who are trying to change. And that's the only reason I decided to do this mayoral race, is because I felt like if I entered this race, I could spread a message that people hadn't heard, and we could help wake up more people in Houston and help connect and build something new, build a movement. And I'm still focused on that. And I'm also very thankful to every single one of you who have taught me about issues that I honestly didn't know about, different things going on in my community. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. I think I'm going to sign off here, guys. just wanted to check in, tell you very much gratitude from my heart to yours, and go out there, check out harrisvotes.org. That's the easiest place to find out the local polling places and to get involved. I haven't decided if I'm going to vote early or if I'm going to vote on election day. We might be going to the Astros game tonight to pass out flyers. If anybody wants to join, I will for sure be at the Astros game tomorrow, the World Series here in Houston, tomorrow night to pass out flyers. I've got a meet and greet at UHD tomorrow. We're going to be hitting up the campuses all week. We're going to be at TSU on Saturday for another event. So there's only 2 weeks left, but we're not stopping. So if you want to get involved, there's still time. You can hit me up at 713-909-0382 or Derrick Broze for mayor at protonmail.com. And until next time, my friends, I hope you have a good night. Remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you are free. Peace.